Hello, my babies, and welcome back once again to the Galfond Challenge here on Run It Once Poker. Before we get too far into this, please let's welcome our PLO expert onto the stream, Andreas Frerly. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me for the fourth day here as well. I'm pretty excited for today's match. Let's see if the pattern continues or if Phil can turn this one around.
Phil starting off down 7.5 buy-ins. We've got a pot size bet on table one. And 8,400 in the middle as we reach a river there. There's three clubs on board. Some wheel possibilities. River on table two. Phil's potted the river on table one.
And also, let's not forget about the potential flushes. Quite a changing card there with the four of clubs. The ace of clubs is on board, so what cannot happen is that the in-position player has that very well. He could technically have a strong mate hand and a flush on the river, but it's less likely because the ace is already on board, and Phil with a bluff and Veni Vidi with the bluff catch with. But now on the right is a really large pot building, and
Yes, Sereno. 15,000 in the middle. Action on Veni Vidi, who pots it. 30,000 up for grabs on table two. Phil folds. pot size bet on table number 1. 16,000 in the middle. Let's see. There's the 5-6 straight got there on the end, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
and neither player holds that.
That one's occasionally going to be in there. Well, seems like Veni Vidi had a busted wrap with a check on 8-5 and no clubs.
And
So
bluffed.
that's again, yeah, I'm bluffed. I mean, that's again that thing that the concept I talked about earlier is when there's a flush on board and you have a straight draw, that's exactly the hand you sometimes want to be looking to bluff with, because Phil Galfond is going to have some natural folds in his range. So if you don't have the clubs, guess who has the clubs sometimes? It's going to be your opponent. And therefore your bluff success rate is going to go up.
It's a 7K pot. $6,000 the bet for Veni Vidi into Phil. Spades missed. Only small straights got there, and Phil folds. Messenger asking me if I made it to any of the AVN parties in Vegas yesterday before I left. I did not. I had immediately hop on a plane to get back to Los Angeles. I had a very important home game to play last night. And I had to make sure I was back in time for this special Saturday stream of the Galfond Challenge as Phil pots it on table 1 on an ace, king, 6-4, 2 spade, 2 diamond board. And a large marge of a pot developing on table 2 now. Veni Vidi bets the maximum on the turn. Two sizable pots, 2 5-figure pots being played side by side. Right side goes Veni Vidi, who has bet the entire pot on table 1, 32,000 euro. Dang near 50 if Phil calls.
Again, really tough spot because the nuts change.
Phil wins that one with King Jack, 2 pair. We've got a medium-sized pot brewing over here on table number 2 after betting a call on the flop. Slightly smaller pot on table number 1 as Phil bets just over half pot on your right-hand side. Board is Queen 10, 7, 6, 2 diamonds, and that is a raise to 22,000. And Phil's put in one last raise. He's all in. Showdown. Phil had a diamond draw. Did not catch it. And that is the biggest.
Yeah, he had also two pair in diamond draw against the straight.
Yesterday after the session ended. And he said he hadn't really been paying too much attention to his all-in EV adjusted. But I think the general consensus is that he did run below expectation a little bit the first couple of sessions.
We see 4 bets on the right by Phil. And a call. And the straight board on the flop. But it's a fairly high one too, so both could have it.
4-bet pot.
But
check on the flop. 6 of spades on the turn.
so yeah, it's exactly on these boards is where the 4-better has some issues if he chooses to not 4-bet enough double suited semi-connected hands. I think so. If you have like too many aces on this board, those aces don't perform so well. So the aces that have clubs with them, they're certainly going to be very strong. But then if you don't have the clubs with your aces, then well, maybe sometimes you have a gut shot. But otherwise, it's obviously very great to occasionally have a 10-9. And Phil has ace, queen, queen, 10 with the boat.
Phil wins a massive pot.
I think that was Valley versus Valley. It was a huge cooler.
Huge pot. Let's stop with the bits. 25,000 in the middle. Table 1. Phil's potted it on the river, and Veni Vidi raises all in for not much more. Phil?
I guess Phil is hoping for a chop here.
Phil?
Would be sick if Veni Vidi actually bluffed.
Phil?
Don't press the fold button.
Phil? Phil? Phil calls, and there's the queen 10 for Veni Vidi. Massive pot.
They're
Hold on a
they're
second,
gonna lose
Andreas.
a lot. But
Sorry,
yeah,
buddy. We
massive pot. Yeah,
got a
yeah.
huge pot brewing on table number 1.
Again, small bets on that monotone board on the left now with 7-5-3 as a stat after full checks.
That's a fun board over on table 2 and a fun amount of money in the middle.
And both.
Oh boy. Veni Vidi all in.
Phil used to full house blockers on the left and got called.
Well, I can't help but look at this table on the right now, my friend. Phil obviously not having an easy decision. So I guess either way, this is a good bet from Veni Vidi. $7,100, $7,200 for Phil to call. He eventually folds. Let's see, we got a couple of busted flush draws and
I read a four bet pot on the left.
Oh boy, 4-bet pot.
And still three bets behind that stack to pop ratio 3. We got 10k in the middle, 29 KB. Yeah, in stacks.
4-bet alert. King 10 10 9. Seven. What happened to the 4-bet? What happened? It's all fizzled.
Well, we are still in there. Phil's still 4 bets, but he checks back on the flop on 10 10 9 and does the same on a king turn.
Lol, weird pot, says Canadian Luke. I agree. There's finally a bet, and it's a pot-sized one.
Now a bunch of straights get there, the 8-6 and the Jack-8. Previously it was just Queen-Jack that got there, and now we will find out whether Phil was actually
we're
trapping.
We're finding out that Phil is putting more money into this pot. And he hasn't been snap called or snap raised.
It could be like 10-9 or kings.
I guess he can't be raised. He hasn't been snap called.
Or something, yeah, like let's just turn it to a bluff. Like a king.
Phil Galfond
That is not a straight.
Up to 61,000 at table one. I'm liking the way this match is going for Phil. We're now through almost 400 hands this session. We're into the last hour of the broadcast. Phil's at least 18,000 euros up.
Well, there's a decent chance we're going to see the double splashes for today. So maybe yesterday there were like 230 players playing after the strain when you combined Hold'em and PLO. I wonder how many more it would be if Phil wins in a day and people are chasing that juicy rake back.
Yeah, some pretty good promotions associated with all this. Not to mention a deposit bonus. Phil Galfond really wants your business. Phil's made a decent bet here on the turn on table two and gotten raised. Raises back immediately. Veni Vidi calls. Phil with top set. Middle set, no good for Veni Vidi. Another huge pot for Galfond.
Yeah, that's huge. That's exactly, again, set over set.
These were the sorts of coolers that could be dealt out either way that Phil was suffering from the first couple days. Chat is stoked. Seeing all those green digits. Interesting point here from UC Banana Boys. It's kind of crazy to think they've played more hands this week than they will in the entirety of the Adams versus Galfond challenge at 40 hours of live play. It is always worth repeating and can never be overstated the sheer game changer that online poker was to the game of poker. Like, I can't even think of a comparison. Actually, there's probably lots of comparisons. Like, Napster to the music industry. Wasn't necessarily a good thing at first, but man, oh man, did it make buying and collecting and trading music so much easier. It just exposed you to so much more than you could have ever had stored in a lifetime of records or cassettes, compact discs. All right, we got a question from more TBC for Phil if we get him. Can you ask him if he feels any pressure to change his play when he's winning to make sure he books a win for the splash of the winnings? That's a great question. Pressure to...
Okay, 10K on the right still.
Okay,
Phil,
all right.
it's up to Phil
Yep,
to
sure,
maybe pull the trigger.
Two huge pots happening right now.
And 4-bet by Veni Vidi on the left, yes. Veni Vidi has a great board on the left, and on the right he jams the river.
Phil folds river. 7,000 euros. Nope, make that 14,000 on table one. Let's shift our focus over there. XCC in chat. He's going to guide us through the polling process as we sweat this river decision from Veni Vidi. The flush draw missed. Wow, Veni Vidi tank raises all in. Decision now on Phil. It's like another 21,000 to call.
Didn't really see flop turn, so yeah, I mean, ranges get extremely narrow by this point.
Narrow as in full houses, quads, and bluffs?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Thank you.
Also taking a short break and getting some food, Stapes.
All right, buddy. Just me and you for right now. Andreas is going to step away for a second. So if you have any questions about the great game of Pot Limit Omaha, send them this way. I will promptly fire them into the trash, because any advice you get from me will certainly cost you hundreds, if not thousands, of big blinds. Kanapi asking, so what is the challenge exactly? The challenge is 25,000 hands of 100, 200 Pot Limit Omaha with a side bet on the eventual winner. Phil laying 2-1. And this is the first of 6 challenges, at least 6. There may be more added. 25,000 hands, 2 tables at a time, still will take quite a while. This is day 4. We're closing in on 2,500 hands in total. Nut Bluff wants to know, is Joey going to commentate on any of this with you? I sure hope so. Would love to get in the booth with Joe Ingram. Skeptics asking, will they go over 2 tables ever? I know that we are prepared for some 3 and 4 table action as Phil notches back over the 50K mark on table number 1. Frauschwein asking, is Phil coming on after the session? That's a good question. Hopefully somebody who matters is listening to this right now can get me an answer on that. It's cool when Phil comes on afterward, but if we're going to have 40 sessions of this, eventually I'm going to run out of shit to ask him. Plus, I'm not going to lie, I still get a little nervous talking to Phil. He's a legend. He's an oracle. A father, a husband, a shaman, a lover. One of the best poker players in the world. He's also my boss. I get weird when I talk to someone who once owned a slide. That's right. He had a slide. Like from a playground, but a big one in his apartment in New York. River on table 2. Turn on table 1. Been checked to Phil. We're going to focus on table 1 for right now. Oh, I was going to say that because the pot's bigger. But now, oh my God, there's 2 tables happening at the same time. What do I do? 15,000 table 1. 7,200 table 2. Table 2 does not go to showdown. Galfond folds to the bet from Veni Vidi. Now it's Veni Vidi's turn to face a bet from Galfond on table 1. Veni Vidi in the tank. We have not seen super long tank times for many decisions, but a lot of the time we do see this move follow it. nearly an all-in from Veni Vidi. Phil's emoting. Confused face? What is that supposed to be? He folds. Rare we see Phil show such emotion during a hand. YOLO was the cry into the night. Raging Ramon says, damn, Phil lost 50K while I got lunch. Seems legit. Pretty wet board here on table 2. And Phil bets large, almost 5,000 on this Jack 10 9-6 2 spade board. And that one goes quickly to showdown, and Veni Vidi wins that one as well. Things are coming apart at the seams. Late in session 4, Phil held a profit for 85 to 90% of this session and has now just lost showdown after showdown. Goodness gracious. The Kook says this is going to hell. Drunk Lord says painful. Absolutely. This has been quite a painful 30 minutes for Phil Galfond. Well, painful for his stack at least. Mr. Curtin says variance. It's a thing. Phil facing a sizable bet on table 2, 4,000 into a pot of 5,000. Phil calls. All right, we're 5 figures over here. 5 figures on the river. Oh man, I guess I was wrong. Slayer says I'm from India. My country follows GMT plus 530, so conversion is required. I'm sorry. Phil calls. Set of 9s for Phil. All right, he gets some back, my babies. We are 10% of the way through the Galfond Challenge. Phil has booked 3 losses of the 4 sessions we have played. Only 1 win, and it was a very thin win at that. Today, Phil down 17,000 euros. Less than a buy-in. He is down, what is that? We'll call it 180,000. So that's times 20 is 9 buy-ins just about thus far. So he does have a little bit of an uphill battle left to climb, but we are only 10% done with this challenge. Still lots of poker left to be played. We'll be back on Monday at the exact same time. Guest TBD. I am Joe Stapleton. You've been watching the Galfond Challenge on Run It Once Poker. Until Monday, smell you later.